With UFC 157 taking place this Saturday at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, I would like to welcome Mr. Ariel Helwani, journalist for MMAfighting.com, reporter for UFC Tonight, and close personal friend. What's going on, my man?
I'm doing great, Reese. How are you?
I'm nice, man. You got a better hotel room than last we spoke, so we need to talk about how you're coming up in the world. But first of all, for the first time in UFC history, we have two women, Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche, headlining the main event. What's the overall feel amongst the other fighters being undercard to the ladies?
You know, that's a very interesting question. When this was first announced that the women would be the main event, you know, veterans like Dan Henderson and Lyoto Machida, who are fighting in the co-main event, were actually pretty peeved. They were upset. They took it as an offense. But over time, given all the attention, the media buzz, all that stuff that Ronda and Liz have received, they've come around. I spoke to Lyoto about this today. He said initially he was very mad, but now he gets it. He understands it's a big deal. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, the UFC has always put the title fight last, the main event. They deserve to be the main event.
Right, now, let's talk about the fight itself. We all know Rousey is a beast, but does Carmouche, who spent 5 years in the U.S. Marine Corps, does she hold her own in this one?
That's a very tough question. You know, Rousey as a pro is undefeated. Only one of her fights have gone past the first minute. She's fought very tough competition. Liz hasn't fought the same kind of competition. Really, you know, as far as the rankings go, a lot of people don't even have her in their top 5. She's just the only one that kind of really campaigned for this fight. The good thing about Liz Carmouche, she's seen it, done it all. You know, spent some time in the military, of course. I mean, the first openly gay fighter in UFC history. She's obviously a lesbian. You know, she has faced a lot of adversity in her life. She's come out and been better for it. So she's not going to be sort of engulfed by this moment. She's not afraid of it. She's a very confident woman, and I think that's a good thing for her. I just don't know if she has the skills to stand and to withstand what Ronda is going to bring to the table on Saturday.
All right, Ariel, in your scientific opinion, do women fight with a different technique than the men?
I don't know if they fight with a different technique. They may be even more technical. You know, UFC President Dana White said he's watched all kinds of footage on all his athletes, right? And when watching the preview footage for this fight, he was blown away by Ronda Rousey's skills when she's hitting the mitts. He said that she's better than most of the men fighters in the UFC. They're very tactical. I mean, let's not forget, Ronda Rousey is a bronze medalist in the Olympics, two-time Olympian. This is a girl who has, I mean, she is world class. She's not just some pretty face who's going in there and getting a shot because, you know, she can pull off an armbar. She's a world-class athlete, and that means a lot. Liz Carmouche also 8-2. I mean, she's beaten some tough people. She fought for the Strikeforce title, had a very good showing there. So I don't know if they have a different technique, but because they may not have the knockout power that the men do and they can't rely on that, they have maybe better technique than the men.
You hear that? Lots of pillows and open-handed slaps.
Oh, I don't think he said. Did he say that? Now look,
no.
besides the main event, what other bouts are you guys most looking forward to?
This is a very good card, guys. You know, like I mentioned, Dan Henderson versus Lyoto Machida, two guys who have been around the sport a long time, former champions. Winner of this fight could very well be the winner, meet the winner of John Jones versus Chael Sonnen, which goes down April 27th in New Jersey. Uriah Faber, he's coming back. He's fighting Ivan Menjivar. Robbie Lawler is a veteran of the sport. He makes his return to the UFC against Josh Koscheck. It's a very good card, top to bottom.
Ariel, this saddens me to have to ask this question. Is it over for my man Rampage? Is the dream dead?
The UFC dream appears to be dead. He says he's going to go elsewhere. He says he still has some fight in him. He just doesn't like the way the UFC has treated him over the last couple of years. And you know, I hope he sticks around. I'm not sure if he has the skill level to compete at a high level, but you know, I could see an organization like Bellator giving him a deal. There's some interesting fights for him over there at 205. I just don't know if we're going to see him in huge, major UFC fights from here on out.
There's Bellator, and there's always World Star, too. There's a tough talent pool there. All right, Ariel, as a married man, allow me to try and get you into trouble. If you were stuck on a deserted island, who are you bringing, Ronda Rousey or Gina Carano?
Wow, that is a very good question. That's a tough one. Gina, I'll say this. When I started my MMA career, Gina was one of my first interviews, and she was very kind to me and kind of actually got the jitters out of my system. So maybe I hold a special place in my heart for Gina Carano. She's no longer in MMA. She's doing great things in Hollywood. So because of that, and because I'm maybe somewhat afraid that Ronda would kill me, I'll take Gina.
You heard it here. Mr. Ariel Helwani lost his jitters with Gina Carano. So glad we could get that out on you tonight. Thanks so much for coming on. You can check him out on MMAfighting.com. Also on UFC tonight. We got to hit the town sometime, my friend. Thanks again.
Thank you.